tied to differences in language and culture. They share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Onwa traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Onwa was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwa. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as natives are seen in their numbers around their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
ITV, certainly the best.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
Good morning, Nigeria. Top of the morning to you. It's another wonderful Monday morning. And of course, it happens to be the last Monday of the month of March. And we're live here on this morning on ITV TMI on Independent Television, where we get to weigh in on all of the pertinent and topical discourse that are shaping our social and political landscape. Right here in our Benin studio, I am Chukufumnanya Digwe. I'm not doing this alone. Alongside, I have Anu Luakbo Stevens. Good morning to you, Anu.
Good morning, Chukufunaya. How are you? How was your weekend?
It was amazing, and I'll ask how yours was also. And just to say, yesterday was Palm Sunday. So how are you? How was Palm Sunday for you? And how are you firing up for the week?
Well, my weekend was great. Palm Sunday. I really did not celebrate as I should, because I got to observe that it's more of the Catholic doctrine who get to practice all of this. And I also did ask a particular pastor if it was done in his church, and he said no, it's more of the Catholic. But it's a good thing to see that we're now in the Holy Week, and it's left for Christians to observe dutifully every single activities that will be lined up for this week.
Okay, so just to say, talking about Palm Sunday being specific to the Catholic doctrine.
Right.
Can I chip in that maybe it's the same for Easter, but at the same time, we all celebrate Easter. We're saying we're moving into the Holy Week with Palm Sunday being the opener.
Right.
What heralds it is Easter. So wouldn't you also say that Easter is now specific to the Catholic doctrine as well?
Well, certainly not, because over time, I mean, since we were born, right, we grew into celebrating Easter, and it's interesting to see that all of these doctrines and all of this Christianity and tradition, some persons just woke up, got born into it, and you really do not have the idea about things. But as regards Easter, Good Friday, I mean, everyone will celebrate. But as to how we celebrate Christmas, it is completely different. There's those who would also say that. But we're looking forward to how all of this unfolds. And let's not forget, we're moving into the new month of April, which also happens to be a beautiful month for me right here.
Oh, can you tell us why?
Well, it's my birth month.
Okay, so we look forward to celebrating with our beautiful Anu Luakbo Stevens. It's your month, come April, and we'll be celebrating you every single day. Now, I did tell you that we're doing this across 3 centers. We are here in Benin, but we also do have our colleagues and co-anchors in Lagos and also Abuja. On the screen, I can see Ikaru Atta, and I also see Mercelina Unko. Good morning to you, starting from our brother Ikaru Atta. How is Abuja? How are you? And what's it's on your end in Abuja that we should be looking forward to?
Thank you very much, Chukufumnaya Adigwe, as well as Anu Luakbo. Indeed, and here you talked about the Palm Sunday, and Anu stressed on the issue of the Holy Weeks. And I told some friends of mine who told me about Holy Week, and I told them, after now, what next are we going to be holy for this week? And subsequently, we plunged back into adultery, into fornication, into drunkenness, lasciviousness, hatred, variance, courtism or courtesy, and all what Jesus does not represent. But that is aside anyway. Sometimes when you talk religion, you get people offended, and some who are deep will tell you, hey, Atta, don't mention adultery. My side chick will not be happy about it. But away from that, in Abuja today, We'll be looking at several issues. We know for sure that the PDP convention, the Wike faction convention held last night. We are waiting to see what will be the legal fireworks, as well as the Bala Mohammed faction with Makinde, when they will be holding their own convention. The APC convention held a day or 2 days before, from Friday night, dovetailing into Saturday morning. We saw all the drama and all that played out within that scenario. And yesterday was our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu 74th birthday. We know that some persons in the social media argued that that age appeared too small, but no one will question the Commander-in-Chief. He said he's 74, and we'll take him as 74. If you feel he's above 74, then you can prove your case in the court of law. But at the 74th birthday, he was at the National Mosque in Abuja. After that, he came back accompanied by the governor. Some also questioned, why should governors abandon their state with entourage and convoy? And all of them flew into Abuja, and the convoy went by road, and all converged in Abuja. And the president promised that he will be giving out his salary to the armed forces, those who were men, those who were men, and those and their widows. He will give out his salary almost throughout his tenure for them. And somebody asked a question: how much is the president's salary? Are you giving out your salary and allowances, or are you giving out basic salary? We need clearance, because if it is just your salary, then if you calculate it for 4 years, it may not be close to 200 million plus, which is just slightly above what one Super Falcon player got when they won the trophy. So if that's what you are giving to the whole armed forces, then there is something worried. But some also believe that it is commendable for a commander-in-chief to say, look, I'm giving the military my entire salary. But some are also asking how much is the salary. It will give Super Falcon what is worth 160 million. And your whole salary in 4 years is less than 300 million. That means you are giving just what 2 Super Falcon players got. You are giving to the whole armed forces, widows and men. But let's commend the president. When our guests come, we'll be discussing about that this morning. This morning, Abuja is the sun is coming up. Abuja is hot. In some part yesterday, we got rain. But so far, so good. I'm happy that Iharoata is the only man. And someone always said, blessed are thou among women.
All right, definitely blessed you are amongst women. Now, before I do give Mercelina voice, Iharoata pointed out that on the 29th of March 2026, the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, happened to mark his 74th birthday, Anu. And something that is very specific about that birthday is that when he released his presidential message, he said he likes to celebrate his birthday in line with the mood of the country. So this year, no big celebrations, just low-key, based on everything that has been going on in Nigeria, from the rising cost of living. I mean, look at petrol and the security situation. So he just basically had a 2-day prayer at the National Mosque in Abuja. No gantry celebrations, but Iharoata just noted that he had governors fly in. Can you weigh in on this?
Definitely. If the governors do not fly in to say, hey, President, congratulations, the celebration would not be complete. Of course, we've highlighted over time the same governors always go meet the president to welcome him at airport and wave him goodbye, and they'll also be there to welcome him back into the country. But away from that, I think last year the celebration was also on a low key, different from his usual celebration that he would have with having symposium, having lectures to commemorate his birthday. But this time around he chose to have it low key, which is quite good. But away from that, Nigerians are looking forward to see positive impact of all of the reforms, all of the removal of the fuel subsidy and other things that has been done since the kickstart of this administration. Well, as regards his age, whether or not he's 74 or not, that has been a conversation that has come to stay, with some persons saying, oh, his first daughter is age 62. Does that mean he gave birth to her when he was 12? But we also do know that we have the football age, or the official age, versus the original age in Nigeria. So maybe that could be one.
Are we normalizing that now?
Well, we'll see that happen over time.
Okay, well,
but I'm not saying that is what the president is doing there, because we cannot, attest to it. But then again, this is Nigeria.
It definitely is Nigeria, even as in Falz's song, This is Nigeria. Now to our Lagos studio, where Mercelina Nkwo is standing by. Good morning, Mercelina. How are you? How did you celebrate Palm Sunday? How is Lagos, and what do you have for us?
Beautiful morning to you, Chukumfunaya. Good morning, Iharata. And good morning, Anu Oluwapo. Happy birthday in advance. Lagos is beautiful. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm well. It's a beautiful weather this morning. So yesterday, the Palm Sunday, we didn't celebrate in our church. I mean, some churches like Catholic, you know, they celebrate it. And according to what Anu and Iharata said, you know, saying it's the Holy Week, and Iharata make mention of something, saying, are you just going to be holy for this week? And, you know, or, I mean, after this week, you move back to your, or to your past. I mean, start sinning and all of that, you know, not just being holy for this week. Is it going to continue like that? And talking about the president, if the president says it's 7 to 4, amen, he's 7 to 4. Let's leave it like that. You know, I would say a lot of Nigerians wouldn't agree to that, probably because, you know, of the way we've been seeing the president, we've been seeing him on, you know, saying him that it doesn't look his age. But if he is saying he's 7 to 4, we would accept it like that. Okay, but basically from Lagos today, we're talking about the APC convention that was held Thursday / Friday night. You know, that is what we'll be talking about today. And the funniest thing is, we're going to be having 2 guests today, APC chieftain and a legal practitioner, you know, that would be helping us analyzing the topic today. So we'll be talking about the APC just concluded convention. We'll examine what the outcomes of that convention mean for the party politics, internal democracy, and also governance, what it means for the forthcoming 2027 election. So basically from this table, that is all we'll be talking about.
Well, thank you for giving us insights on your conversation to come, Mercelina. Iharata and Mercelina and even Anu. Now, there's something that, you know, happens to characterize our elections in Nigeria, and has even started to characterize the one upcoming in 2027. There's a lot of shifts, political shifts, a lot of political realignments, and one that has been a major talking point happens to be the resignation of the leader of the Kwankwasia movement and the national leader of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Kwankwaso, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso. And there's also news that he's going to join the ADC come today. What is your take, Anu?
Well, I'm sure it's not a shocking news to a lot of Nigerians, because even before what happened over the weekend, we had feelers of this happening. In fact, on social media and also offline, we had persons saying, are we going to expect or be looking forward to a Peter Obi Kwankwaso movement or ticket where Peter Obi would be the president, would be vying for the president's seat, and of course Kwankwaso would, you know, chip in as the vice president. So when that happened over the weekend, with a lot of persons also been surprised, because Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, first off, he was the presidential candidate for the NNPP in the 2023 general election. He's also among the founding fathers of the Kwankwasia movement and also the NNPP. So for another sect of Nigeria, it was more or less like a shock. Well, meanwhile, there are those who would say that it's rather too late, because when you had the opportunity in the 2023 general election to join forces with Peter Obi or the Obedient movement, you did not, for whatever reasons, and now you're moving to ADC, sort of, so we hear today, make it make sense. But we're looking forward to all of the unraveling that will be, you know, unveiling moving forward in politics. Let's not also forget that I think a couple of weeks ago, during the last Muslim celebration, Peter Obi was live there in Kano State with Kwankwaso also chairing him, and the Kwankwasia movement chanting Peter Obi. So a lot of Nigerians are looking forward to everything.
We're definitely looking forward to it. He's also having the former deputy governor of Kano State, Abdulsalam Gwazo, join him in this, should I say, joining of the ADC. I was saying that we'll have the thoughts of Iharata and Mercelina also. Iharata, this political realignment, what do you think?
Well, Mercelina and Anu and all of us, I think the major thing here is let's be factual, let's be blunt. As the conscience of society that we are, as journalists and men of the pen profession, these men are political jumpologists. They jump from party to party. They are looking for what we know is their daily bread, their relevance, and they are struggling for power. Like what Anu nailed it extremely correctly, and Anu was very, very correct. That the time they would have joined forces to actually give, they were struggling over, shouldn't be Obi, is Obi not from the southeast, if we give it to the southeast, and everyone was playing politics. Now that Tinubu has sat, is sitting in the villa with a firm grip on power, more than 31 state governors, the ones in Abia, the ones in Abga are not even standing very well in their party, one leg in their party, the other leg in APC, backing Tinubu. I wonder how anybody's ticket can defeat him. But for those who are defecting, for those who are jumping, for those who are aligning and realigning, we know that that is based on the fact that they lack ideology. And if they want to learn from the Tinubu school of politics, they will learn to be consistent, they will learn to stay in one place, they will learn to wait, knowing forward that some of us who are biblical students have learned from Hosea chapter 3 verse 2, that the vision is for an appointed time. Though it may tarry, it will come to pass. Tinubu waited all these years. He stayed alone for several years, but these ones now cannot stay. Today they have all defected. They are standing on the mandate. Tomorrow when Tinubu leaves, they will run to the next person's mandate to be standing. Most of them have gone from APP, AMPP, they've gone to ACN, they've gone to AD, they've gone to PDP, they've gone back. Atiku, you cannot, if you want to draw a graph of Atiku's movement, you will likely finish one ink of how he moved from party to party.
Thank you so much for your perspective there, Iharata. Mercelina, very quickly, what do you have to say?
The question is, are these people that are our leaders, these people we know that they are our leaders, are they actually there to serve us, or they are there for their pockets? I mean, we've been seeing a couple of defections lately, so it shouldn't be shocking to anyone seeing any person defecting to another party. It's been defection for a while now, and lots of these people that are defecting is either they're entering the APC or the ADC. I mean, this is what they would have, if you want to defect, you would have defected since, instead of thinking of the person. Oh, should we give this person the presidential ticket? Should we give this person the presidential ticket? I mean, this shouldn't be shocking, because if I tell you that I saw it coming, you'll be surprised that one day you wake up and you would even be surprised that the person that has defected is not the person you're thinking or you act with defection, and people keep defecting by the day, they keep defecting every day. So it shouldn't be something new. It's just that now they've defected to the ADC. Who knows the party they will be defecting to next?
All right,
Mercy.
Mercy.
Fingers crossed to see what happens.
Yes, we definitely hope to unpack all of this, I say political shifts and realignments now. It is what it is. We'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, right now on TMI, on independent television, we'll take an intermission. When we come back, we'll move into our newspaper review segment. Don't go anywhere.
Chapter 28, verses 6 and 7. He is Noah.
ITV, certainly the best.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of
Welcome back, viewer, to TMI on Independent Television. We're now in our newspaper review segment, where we get to take a look at the national dailies and see what stories are leading. We'll begin with the Guardian newspaper. Now, a major headline there says, ADC settles for consensus as PDP scouts for presidential candidates. That story is on page 6. Away from that, it says, on Palm Sunday, Pope sues for global peace as CAN seeks relief for Nigerians. More stories say HEDA CSOs demand full disclosure of OPL 245 deal. That's on the business scene and it's on page 7. Moving on, you see Serap flays IBAS over alleged 302 billion naira FAC expenditure in Rivers. Also on news page 7. In other stories, Senate leader says National Assembly on track toward state police creation. In more news, terrorists are not prodigal sons, says Bishop as COAS orders relentless onslaught. That's on the security situation in Nigeria, and it's on page 8. In more news, discordant tunes greet APC convention as 2027 rivalries begin. Moving on, ASU lost 5 of 10 years to strikes, says the federal government. That's on news page 3. And finally, concerns as hot money continues to outstrip patient capital inflow. That's on finance and the economy, and it's on page 19. That's about it.
All right, away from that, we turn our attention over to the Vanguard newspaper this morning, leading with the major headline that says, as deadline expires tomorrow, bank recapitalization raises 4.6 trillion naira. Subwriter says, sparks sectorial battle for allocation. Shareholders expect delayed returns, urge cautions. Real sector-focused development. CPPE wants banks to channel funds to SMEs, real sector to drive economic impact. Well, all of this and more on page 11 of the Vanguard this morning. In politics, 2027, how Kwankwaso's defection to ADC will shape polls. Subbrata says, Obi Kwankwaso's ticket mold. Ex-Kano governor resigns from NNPP. We are excited. Move will strengthen opposition. ADC speaking. NNPP reacts. ADC working to adopt consensus option for 2027 presidential candidate. Who was speaking? Bolaji Abdullahi, the spokesperson to the ADC, for the ADC. Well, away from that, on the front page of the Vanguard, still PDP convention, Wike to the factors. We have taken back PDP. How true is that? Well, on page 46, you find out. We must resist one-party rule, Benga Hashim insists on page 48. Palm Sunday, Khan urges leaders to ease hardship on page 9. Well, interestingly, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, we have a picture there with President Bola Tinubu and a host of incredible governors of Nigeria. I see Edo State Governor. I also see other state governors there, Umar Bago and the rest right there celebrating with our president as he marked his 74th birthday yesterday. Well, still on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, Atiku, Ribadu, Obi, Amechi lead dignitaries to burial of El-Rufai's mother. Subreddit says, as Northern Governors Kano Emma mourn on page 6. Well, is that all we have on the Vanguard? Well, finally, at 74, nations moved forced me to observe low-key birthday. Who was speaking? President Bola Tinubu. Well, that's all for Vanguard this morning.
All right, so our next point of call happens to be Daily Trust. Daily Trust's headlines there, it happens to be one major story, which we'll be looking at. It's on 2027 polls. Kwankwaso, Atiku, Obi join forces against Tinubu. Well, this is something that we actually got to discuss in our opening, and we'll get to see more of it play out today as Kwankwaso officially joins the ADC in Kano State.
Absolutely. I wonder what would be on the mind of Atiku Abubakar right now, because there are those who would say the big wigs we have in the ADC, basically, they are all for their own political interest, even though they would tell us that, oh, we are looking forward to how we can change the trajectory of Nigeria. But at the end of the day, we see politicians and political parties without ideology. Do not forget that Atiku Abubakar has been in the PDP, has been moving around for just one intention and one achievement: to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Will that see the light of the day? Well, we'll find out shortly.
Happening to have all of them in one party, Atiku, Obi, and Kwankwaso right now, maybe Atiku just wants to be a political godfather.
Really?
Let's see how it plays out anyway. Well, up next is our discussion segment, which happens to be the most consequential part of this program. Right here in our Benin studio, we'll be looking at 2027, Tinubu, also his performance, the policies, the ideologies, and the Nigerian perception. It's really a lot to unpack. Stay with us.
And a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
welcome back to TMI on ITV. Now, we're in our discussion segment, as I noted before, and we're going to be talking about something that's on the lips of every Nigerian right now, almost every Nigerian. I've noticed that over time, and especially right now, a lot of Nigerians have lost faith in the government and have become, should I say, apathic? Well, it is what it is. Maybe it's the faith in the government they are losing and not really faith in the polls. Anyway, right here in our Benin studio, we're going to be looking at the APC, the Tinubu government. In light of 2027, we are going to be reviewing the campaign promises made to Nigerians and their perception right now. This is all we're going to be unpacking. And to talk about this, we have a lineup of very insightful guests. For now, let's meet one. We have Dr. Omori Austin Aigbe, who happens to be an advocacy officer and ECOWAS liaison lead, West Africa Democracy Solidarity Network. And he is joining us via Zoom in Abuja. A very wonderful morning to you this Monday morning. It's such a delight to have you join our conversation and weigh in on this very topical issue. I hope it's all good on your end.
Thank you very much. It's good. A nice Benin City, my beloved state.
Oh, very well, thank you. I'm pretty sure you already hear on the news how we're faring, but we're good. So, like I did say in my intro, we're talking about the APC. We are talking about 2027. We're reviewing the campaign promises made by the president before his inception in 2023. And how Nigerians feel about it. How's it all going? Before we kickstart the conversation, tell me, what do you think?
Well, ahead of the 2023 elections, there were several today known as whether it is a removal of subsidy which has been implemented, or that Nigerians were going to have free electricity or otherwise. So what is important is that the living standard of Nigeria was supposed to be improved, that those social indicators were going to be sustained. And that is why the mantra is renewed hope. So it's an assumption that hope had been dashed with the previous administration, that in every sector, hopes were going to be renewed. But today, I see a lot of commentaries on social media. What has become renewed have actually been undermined, because there's really, in almost all the sectors that impact on people. I'm not talking about when you talk something like infrastructural sector, for instance, road construction. You could have a thump up, particularly around maybe in the FCT area where the president and his team under Nyesom Wike has literally transformed the capital, the Federal Capital Territory, in a way that you could see the difference between 2023 and date. Just within a space of 2-3 years, there'll be massive transformation, industrial-wise, infrastructural-wise. Again, that is just road. Beyond that, we cannot point to anything that has to do with maybe creation of industries for mass employment or social housing that were promised, that will need to pull up people from the dungeon of housing constraint, or the ability and argued that there is no part of the country where insurgency have laid claim to governing, but we know there are certain parts of this country, part of the north, where if you don't pay taxes, if locals don't pay taxes to residents in those locations, they face some untold hardship or direct attack or brutality because they have refused to pay taxes. Having said that, we've not seen some form of drastic, to some point, a very well-measured drastic action to deal with insecurity. We still see the insecurity is on a beehive. It may not be the same way, even though that argument may be accepted, but there is some very high level of challenges across the Federation anyway, whether you go to the Southeast where secessionist movements continue, the SSM continue to have its way, even though the military have tried to dissipate them, reduce their number, address those concerns. We saw that with the Anambra election of 2025, where compared to the previous years of election, the Anambra election didn't have the kind of nuanced security concern we had in previous election. You see the peace also somewhere around Imo and elsewhere. If you come to the South, those states, our beloved states, continue to face some form of kidnapping, court issues and all of that, even though they've been massive issues with the government's approach to deal with the kidnapping, I mean, with the destruction of their houses, etc. Massive improvement we have seen. But if you go to the Southwest, those continue. Today we know that Ondo is no longer safe. There has been massive kidnapping in that state, and it's not too good for the Nigerian state. But to say, I will give it a very fair, in fact, I would rather we call it that the government has not done too well to improve the living standard. I like you to understand, to put that in parentheses, the living standard of Nigerian people.
All right, Dr. Omori Austin, before I come back to you, I'd like to introduce another one of our very insightful guests, which we're having on the program this morning. The person of Austin Brima, who happens to be the former National Commissioner of the Police Service Commission. He is also joining us virtually from Abuja. A wonderful morning to you. Thank you for joining our conversation. As I did say before, we're talking about the performance of the APC, particularly the president. We're reviewing his campaign promises and now the Nigerian perception as we build up to 2027. What's your take?
Thank you. Good morning, everyone in the studio. My colleague there, Dr. Austin, I appreciate your contribution. I'm happy to be with you. I will just, I think I will align myself with what my colleague said about the economy, about the performance of the government. But just to add a few, that I hope you are hearing me. Am I audible enough?
Yes, very well. Thank you.
Oh, great. Oh, great. I think that if you want to assess this government, like you said, when you talk of what to look at, what the government has put on the table for a common man, very little will be said. But in terms of, if you look at the general performance, if you know where we are coming from, like you said, from 2023, you compare the period of President Muhammadu Buhari and what we have now, I think this government deserves some credit. Because the world order, the world economic order, social order, look at the turbulence going on around the world, they must impact on Nigeria, impact on government plans, and so on. So if you want to have a general overview of what this government has done, they deserve some credit. But Nigerians deserve more. We know when subsidy was removed, we know the pace we went through, we were made to go through pace. Previous governments have been scared taking this bold step, but this government is. And they deserve credit for it. It's part of that. We've gone through a lot of pace. At this point in time, we expect to see the fruits showing on the economy, showing on the people, showing on transportation. We will need to see things coming up after 3 years of subsidy removal. We think the removal of the subsidy is not being impactful enough for the common man. This is the pain now, and this is the complaint. And particularly now that at this point, after 3 years of this president's promise to improve power supply, we are still having the grid collapse. As we speak now, there's hardly any power supply in most part of the country. Even where I am, I use generators. It's not the best. So we can still give the government some credit for some of these things that some of the things that they done, the bold steps, the regulations. Then we know what it did to stabilize the Naira. That has been wonderful. But I know in the long run, some of these things will bear more fruits and they may be better. But at this point in time, we cannot clap so much yet.
All right. Also joining us, before I come back to you, because I have a very particular question based on your disposition. Also joining us is Prince Israel Urika. He is the Executive Director of Connected Advocacy, and he is joining us virtually also from Benin City. Good morning to you. You know, our discourse this morning is on the performance of the government of the day. The APC-led government led by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We're reviewing the campaign promises and how Nigerians perceive these performances as we move up to the 2027 general polls. What's your disposition?
Oh, thank you very much for having me. Thank you, Austin, for your previous disposition. But for me, the president do not have any campaign promises to give to Nigerians. And so therefore, we do not have anything to hold him accountable for. Only what he told us is that it is torn, emilokon, and agbado rice beans for youth. So there is not, the game boils down to citizens' accountability tracking. We citizens, we do not track any governments in power, and we did not look at what they want to do differently. So as long as we did not ask and to see what President Muhammadu Buhari Tinubu is going to bring to the table and do differently, we do not also need to begin to ask how his campaign is faring. Because for us, what I know is that it was his turn and it is his turn. So that is what I can take as promise. And the other ones you hear where he said if he cannot provide electricity in 4 years, we shouldn't vote for him. I think that was not even part of his promise. It was through an interview. So let citizens begin to ask anyone coming to power, what will they do differently? I don't want us to begin to pre-sing any government who actually has all the resources and things to actually make a difference, and we still do not really have the impact of the government at the grassroots. So where local communities, people who actually bear the brunt of this, how many poor people have access to fuel? What are the measures to cushion to see that those persons on the ground who are bearing this impact right now, they are surviving? Poverty has been weaponized. Over the 250 million of us, how many persons can really boast of 3 square meals a day among the major populace? So we cannot really track indices of performance right now because he did not make any promises to us. And we also fail to ask him what he's going to do differently. So as long as we do not have our accountability tracker that is signed, a citizen charter that is signed, that is going to tell us, okay, if I did not do this, where is the blueprint? We don't have. But once, because we are hungry, he gives us contract or he gives us more money or rice. Road is not good, he gives us rice. Insecurity, they gives us rice. So as long as they keep giving us rice, I think that will cushion the effect. So citizens do not have anything to ask because they did not sign any charter. So for me, I cannot hold him accountable for anything because we did not ask him what he's doing differently. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Prince Israel. Moving back to Dr. Austin, there are those who would call Nigeria Ricegerians at this point. But the question I would love to ask, 2 questions. Number 1, what do you think is the mood of Nigerians towards the current administration? And also, over the weekend, APC had its national convention with delegates and other interesting political bigwigs gather at Abuja right there to, liaise as towards the forthcoming 2027 election. And then one of the major things that the president did state was the issue regarding the one-party system, where he said they do not have any intention to make Nigeria a one-party state. And he also addressed the recent outburst from Nigerians with the bad power supply that we've been experiencing in the country, and he assured Nigerians that electricity would improve. So I want you to marry all of that and have your take on it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my brother. My name is of course, Israel. I appreciate this feedback, but Israel, I understand where you're coming from. And it is also important to say that there were promises. Let's not, on May 29, 2023, in that speech, for instance, subsidy is gone. It's a campaign promise. The swapping of Nigerian naira with the dollar was a campaign promise. Of course, the recruitment of young people, creating of jobs, 1 million jobs, they're all promises. In fact, the electricity, he said electricity will become accessible. It was a promise. Everything that an intending aspirant, in fact, a candidate, intend to do, whether in a private interview, in a well-organized symposium, at any forum, where it will itemize the thing it will do with our campaign promises. The last birthday he had, which was a birthday, I think, before the election, that was in 2022 or thereabout, in that birthday, he synchronized all the things he will do, including it is my turn, and all of those mandates, mantra, we stand on Monday, those were all the things that we are reviewing. In any case, let's take it one after the other. Just a few days ago, the Minister of Power had apologized to Nigerians because of the war situation that we are now facing with electricity. I agree when my brother Austin said there's a lot maybe we boosted in fuel subsidy removal. I tell you, as a policy person, I mean, I'm a global citizen, and I pride myself with that. I've seen countries have to turn around the tide of evil to a pattern that is constructive. There is nothing wrong, absolutely nothing wrong with removal of subsidy. But you don't remove subsidy that weakens the power of the ordinary Nigerian. You don't try to create or deal with the inefficiency in the first subsidy regime that pushes the claim, what they call in macroeconomy, that you put a burden of impact on the ordinary Nigerians. No, you don't do that. What you do is to try a policy formulation, what we call like gender setting. You create the nuance that if you remove subsidy, this is going to be the impact. What do we do to cushion this impact for a long run? What do we do until the subsidy begins to find its route on the ground or its route on the ground? What do we do? It's going to impact on transportation. It's going to increase the living standard of people. It's going to do XYZ. What do we do? So one of the things the president said was the CNG buses. To ask, are there CNG buses in Benin that are mass enough to take people from location in Ugbowo to somewhere like in Upper Smoba Road or in Abuja from Maraba to Imas? There are a few of them I see on the road. So it's supposed to be mass transport system, the kind of BRT buses in Lagos, that it will cushion the effect that the ordinary people who will need to jump on buses do not have to pay like 1,000 naira from location 1 to B. I tell you, there are people who spend 5,000 naira a day, and yet their salary is less than 100,000. You expect that individual not to be poor, and that in any case. So if you look at ahead of 2027 election, people are going to be voting, particularly on several grounds, including stomach infrastructure. A lot of people may end up like that's part of the anger among all of us in civil society that we have to develop democracy and etc. That people who accept money to vote should stop complaining when there are issues, and this get to do with everybody, including the rich who don't show up to vote. Now the poor are the one who determine who become president, governors, House of Assembly members, etc., senators, etc. The poor are the ones going to vote. That happened again in the FCT election. The rich are so comfortable because they provide themselves the government they need. They provide electricity for themselves. My brother Austin has generators, not one, generators. They have solar energy. They've got SUV vehicles. They've got security personnel in their homes. They got dogs. They got private and armed personnel. So they literally create their own government. And what is government? Government, the function of government, the whole duty of government is the welfare and security of its citizens. When you fall short of that, today is their welfare of citizens, The NSC is already asking for higher pay or whatever because of the Gulf War, because of the crisis today. You will say that's not Tinubu's responsibility. Yes, it is not Tinubu's responsibility. It didn't cause war in the Gulf. But the whole duty, you have to have had savings. If ordinary citizens can save for the rainy day, yeah, where is the oil that we have saved for this rainy day? If we didn't have oil that we have saved for the rainy day, then there's a problem. You are going to not tell me that, yes, it's been mortgaged before this administration. It was mortgaged, the oil was mortgaged, the crude oil was mortgaged before this administration. In the last 3 years, what has happened to cushion this effect so that we address the tide of evil that is operating this country, Nigerian state? I think there's more to be done. And I think President Tinubu does have the nuance to address it because he has prepared to be president for too long a time.
All right, Austin Brima, I'll move to Austin Brima, our other guest. Now, in your previous disposition, you sort of commended the government of the day, saying that in a way, they've tried to fulfill their campaign promises to Nigerians. But you also highlighted the failing power situation in Nigeria, which we can all attest to, the fact that there is a problem with electricity in Nigeria, so much so that Aso Rock has even disconnected itself from the electricity of the nation, and now they are using solar. And part of the things the president said during his campaign period, although our other guest said that that was not a campaign promise, but he did say it during his campaign period, was that he should not be voted back in 2027 if he is unable to give Nigerians steady power supply. So now this statement of the president, should Nigerians take it literally or just tongue-in-cheek as just something, one of those words that politicians throw around when they are itching for power?
Thank you. Well, my attitude, when we're looking at promises and performances of political office holders, is that we should learn to aggregate facts, aggregate total performances before we judge. For instance, we should not just look at power. Let's not just look at maybe the price of fuel or what other things that we have on the table. We should look at like security. So many things we put together. So he has failed in terms of security. He has failed to provide infrastructure. He has failed to provide power. He has failed to bring down the price of food and so on and so forth. So we put all together and see what percentage has this government done better or failed. If we aggregate them, then we can properly judge. Like in terms of power, it is clear that the President Tinubu has not gotten it right with power supply. It is very clear. There's no gainsaying. 3 years, here we are. And my brother said I have generators. I run my small-scale business, and I have to power them. A liter of diesel has gone up to 1,009 at this morning, 1,900 per liter. I think that is our figure. A liter of fuel has gone to 1,350. That is not good enough for business. It's not for comfort. We have to put food on the table for my family. So it's really terrible for the common man. And I can tell you that clearly. If I, from my position, am feeling it so hard and at the pinch, I feel the pinch, you should know what others are feeling. So in terms of power, we can say, oh, this government has not done well. But that does not mean that the president has failed. In the earlier analysis from Dr. Austin, he mentioned about security, where some parts of the country were occupied initially. I know during the last government, I worked for the last government, and I know what things were. Things were really bad, worse than it is today. I think there's a lot of improvement in terms of security. Although these security issues going to mutate, like you have Lukarawa coming up, bandits now moving down towards the south in Kwara and down to Kogi and even to Ondo and Edo. They continue to mutate. But you can see, I can say clearly that the agitation from Southeastern has reduced. It has come down. And, I would not want to use the word contain. Even sit-at-home order is no longer being implemented in Anambra State. Even in Enugu State, they are gradually getting over that sit-at-home and this threats from the IPOB and all that. So there's improvement in terms of security that is gradual compared with 2023. That is the way I look at that. Then, if we look at the fuel subsidy, which everyone agreed was overdue, and this president should be scored high for that. It's been something that has been scandalous when Nigeria know what has been going on. But we don't need to go into that today. But what are we asking? We have saved a lot of money from fuel subsidy removal. How is it impacting on us? Our transportation system, how is it? The infrastructure where this money is supposed to be plowed back into, how is it? This is the area we're supposed to be asking questions. But I know it's not going to be that easy. 3 years, 4 years, it's not enough. It's not enough.
Okay, Mr. Austin.
Yeah,
all right, thank you so much for your interest and submission. But I'd love to move back to Prince Israel. I'd love you to react to what Mr. Austin said as regards how the federal government or this current administration has fared so far. Because, I mean, some person would say it seems he's living in a different world entirely. If you ask an average Nigerian on the street how much is a crate of egg, just recently in the news, we hear that a crate of egg is now going for 8,000 naira per crate, right? If we also ask an average Nigerian as regards how it's pretty much affordable to take their children to school, to do the basic things. Interestingly, Nigerians are not asking for too much. Just give us light, water, good road, security, and we're good. In terms of security, how would you rate in terms of food, agriculture, provisions of, jobs? Do we have jobs right now in the country generally? And as regards the dividends of the removal of the fuel subsidy, the president would often say, ask your governors. They now receive humongous, FAC allocation. But has that dividend dwindled down to an average Nigerian on the street? Well, generally, what do you think is the current mood of Nigerians towards this current administration? Prince Israel, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sir Austin, and the other discussant, Austin Igwe. For me, on the street is biting. If you talk about security, I think it's even worse, because right now it has got to local people. The level at which youth do go to farm before it's drastically reduced because you need to pay ransom. So how many young persons have the money to pay ransom? Because I remember then President Muhammadu Buhari said that Nigeria is sitting on a keg of gunpowder. That if something is not done to tackle the issue of youth unemployment, it will become a catastrophe for this nation. And today we are seeing it today. Because there's close civic space for young people, there's no participation, and also citizens do not even have the right to decide what governs them. So the effect of subsidy removal, I think for me, people on the street, they would have preferred that subsidy removal was not removed, because then a level of petrol was reduced where citizens could also benefit. So you remove subsidy and the situation becomes worse. We are not feeling any impact of it. So telling me it's going to take 3 years, 4 years for us to feel the impact that you've removed, where is the money going to? We at the grassroots do not have this impact. We do not feel this impact. And let us be frank and sincere, the government has not really done something to those are the grassroots. You're giving the money to state governors, it's not trickling down to what? To grassroots, people on the ground. Do you think it's a clear to go and start kidnapping? Do you think, because these guys do not actually have what they are doing, so I'd never support it. So can
there is actually no excuse.
Yes, it's not an excuse. But what can an average Nigerian say they are benefiting from this government? For many government say, I'm a citizen of Nigeria, this is my benefit. Can you quote one? Can any of them quote one that it generally goes round, if not suffering pains? You cannot. Before I used to go to Abuja via this road. I've not been to Abuja for almost a year now, because I cannot risk it. My stepmother is in Auchi. I can't even see her for 3 years now, because I don't know what will happen on the road. So the situation is worst. But right now, I think citizens need to begin to get organized. Just like what Austin said, this 5,000 insecurity problem, you give us rice, no electricity, you give us rice. I think citizens should wake up. I pray, I hope they will wake up from this 5,000 they are collecting to really engage government, to sit down. This is actually what we want. Citizens demand, and ensure they do it. They know. Politicians know the impact that these citizens are going through. But they only leave it for another 4 years. They will tell you, hold on. How long can we continue to hold on? This cannot happen in other clans. I've been to other countries and other places. The way Nigerians are suffering, every day you keep increasing price, no price regulation because it's a free market. And what do an average Nigerian benefit to say I'm a Nigerian? Do we have one? Or is it healthcare that you go to that you can't even afford federal facility? It's more even expensive than some private hospital. So let's call a spade a spade. The system is not working for the poor masses, but they only leave us for every 4 years to help them decide their fate of who comes next to harvest the farm called Nigeria. Because Nigeria is now a farm for both local and international. So those who are in the system, they are benefiting. While those who are at the grassroots, they can't feed. I did a campaign the other day to make people understand the new regulation from the Electoral Act. More than 20 of them are asking, there's no job. How can we get job? I went to school, I'm a graduate, I don't have access to. But what I'm even doing, I cannot even feed my family. So these things, are we taking this into planning, into implementations of policies? That's why I say there's need to be what? Citizen charter. Let's engage anybody coming again. Let's have an agreement that we can hold on to. This is what you are telling us. This is what you are signing. A bond, a social contract. I think we need, citizens should be asking for this other than this rice. This rice is taking us beyond the normal. You can't even, I have a car, I can't even know how to, I measure where I go to now, because if you drive anyhow, you may not come back the same way you came. So the thing is terrible. So system, whosoever hearing us now in policy, because the problem is anyone in government, the system favors those in government, the cronies and those associates.
Okay, Prince Israel, we'll get back to you.
Given the opportunity.
Thank you so much. We'll get back to you. Meanwhile, you're still on to TMI on ITV. We'll take a break now to take a breather, after which we'll return with our discussion segment. Don't forget, we're reviewing the campaign promises of the APC government led by our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the Nigerian perspective as regards this in view of 2027. Stay with us. continue from where we left off in our Benin studio, the discussion segment. Now, just before we did go on that break there, we were hearing from Prince Israel, which happens to be one of our discussants on the show this morning. Now, basically, you were highlighting the, should I say, failures or the deficits of the government of the day. I mean, in a way, it's clear for a large section of Nigerians to see, from the rising costs of living to the rising everyday cost of petrol that happens to, one, stem from the removal of fuel subsidy, which happened to be one of the first policies of the Tinubu administration, and also the war we're seeing in the Middle East and the inability of the government to cushion all of these effects of the rising cost of petrol is seen in transportation, as well seen in the market prices. My colleague here, Anu, she spoke about a crate of egg going for 8,000 naira. I mean, so these are the things Nigerians are getting to see. And you mentioned something, Prince Israel, how poverty is probably being weaponized in Nigeria today ahead of 2027 polls. Now, one thing I'd like to highlight, which I also mentioned at the beginning of this discourse, is the fact that a lot of Nigerians now have become politically apathetic. They don't even believe in going to the polls anymore. Maybe because of the experience of 2023, maybe because of how government is going right now, and what the present day Nigerian is having to feel. But what do you say to, this political apathy that's being experienced by many Nigerians, that they don't even want to go to the polls and they're saying they won't vote? What's your take?
Thank you very much. My take still remains trust. When the trust is broken, we did a survey from my work across the country on a project called Youth Electoral Reform. We see to it that over 450 young people say they are disappointed and they are not even willing to vote in the coming election because their hopes and trust were dashed. So, and consider the system that
well, it seems we have a breach there in terms of network. Anu?
Okay, now let's move over to Dr. Austin. When this current administration came on board, it came on board with a renewed hope agenda, even though a lot of Nigerians...
participation of the crucial...
Prince Israel, are you there?
Young people. So, we really have access to S2.
Okay, since we're still trying to regain connectivity with Prince Israel, so I was talking to Dr. Austin. The renewed hope agenda, really, how far has it fared? Aside security, aside power, aside the removal of fuel subsidy, there's still other key point agenda from this particular government in terms of agriculture and food security. How would you, say that this government has actually fared? And also, as regards corruption and governance, has this government really played a major role in fighting corruption to its later? Dr. Austin, are you there? Please go ahead.
When you talk about
yes, loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me? Confirm you can hear me.
We can hear you.
So if you look at other sectors, why this conversation are literally zero in on insecurity, issues around the economy, and we haven't gone down a bit into industrialization, agriculture, maybe the alternate means beyond oil, which has become the grand stay of Nigeria's economy. Outside crude oil, there is nothing more. This country is blessed with enormous resources, enormous. Sitting on the in Plateau State is huge resources that has not been tapped. Sitting in Kogi State are resources that are not been tapped. Sitting on Zamfara is a gold mine. Beyond that, in Plateau, in Benue, across the length and breadth of this country. Everyone, this administration and other administration have always relied on crude oil, which is the bane of Nigeria's economy. Having said that, in agriculture, folks who used to bring tomatoes, onions, and etc., yams from northern Nigeria is no longer the story. As we speak, you know, Prince Israel just talked about more young people in Edo State and elsewhere who used to go to farm are unable to do that because they fear kidnapping. If you go to the IDP camps today, the bulk of folks who live in the IDP location were all farmers. Now you put them out. So Nigeria, how Nigeria is even surviving, sometimes is a miracle because the benchmark for sustainability, food security, which is grand norm for survival, food, Agatu in Plateau is no longer, in Benue, is no longer a destination for agricultural attainment. The food basket of the nation, which is Benue State, has been occupied literally by several killings by, I don't want to use ethnic correlation, let me call them unknown gunmen who used to invade locations, pull out all of those inhabitants who are literally farmers because, in my opinion, because of the mineral resources on that ground. We have seen several reports, and the Nigerian government has not been able to convert those mineral resources to national wealth. So there are individuals who are using those mineral wealth for their own survival. Take, for example, Zamfara State. The gold of Zamfara is not a national asset. The question is that why? Yet there are no state actors, foreign and local, who rely on that gold, who sell those gold out of this country, fly them out, and go to countries like Switzerland and etc. You're going to see the Nigerian gold in those locations. And the question is, how did it get there? Meanwhile, gold is not a contributor to our national GDP. Is that not a fallacy? As we speak today, the world agreed, if not for the fact that we now have GMOs that people don't even know whether the argument about GMOs are good or not is immaterial, that you can actually do a lot of agriculture production without the large-scale organic farming that the Nigerian state is known for. We are now relying on some form of agro-led farming, agro-businesses, which are good. I'm not against it. I'm not, because it is putting food on our table. If you were talking about a crate of egg going for 8,000, I'm sure you are using a Edo State price. Come to Abuja, a crate of egg that we bought that's of 30 pieces that we bought about 2 months ago, just 2 days ago, is about almost 10,000 naira. Because the price of petroleum product literally improved everything, including agricultural production, which may not actually have been impacted by fuel, but because of the transportation of those products from the local location to the city center, the prices skyrocket. So what do? I think for Mr. President, ahead of 2027, you see got about, even though it's less than a year, about 10 months to the election. There's a lot that can happen. One of it is to bring back confidence about people like Prince Israel to be able to go and see his stepmom in Auchi from Benin City, which is about an hour ride. Or come to Abuja. I used to drive to Benin many years ago, but I can't try it. I'd attended conferences in my alma mater at the Abu Salim University a number of times by leaving Abuja, and I would get to the campus ground before the event will start. Beyond the bad roads are the externalities of insecurity. That what is a basis, so you have to spend more to be able to make that trip. And you know that today, during Christmas period, that the airlines actually exploited travelers by what we now know as reports. Airlines exploited people. You are traveling to a place like Benin for as 500,000 naira, a place you can get to within 7-8 hours. I used to run that journey many years ago. 6-7 hours. I'm in Benin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Omori. Thank you so much, Dr. Mori, for your submission there. Now, Mr. Austin Brima, just as we round off this conversation right here in our Benin studio, it happens to be that what we are stemming at now is that the hopes of a lot of Nigerians have been dashed, and that it seems that, you know, the government of the day might have deficits regardless of the promises made during the campaign period. Now, what do you say as we, you know, just turn it down?
Thank you. I agree with you that the government would have deficits. That is normal and it's natural. What my attitude is towards is that we should look at the global situation while assessing our own, the impact of anything on us. I agree that deficit is there. It must be there. Like Dr. Austin said, the security situation has been bad. The economy is not been good. But then the impact is worldwide. It's not a Nigerian factor. So that our leaders ought to have tinkered with some of these issues in a way that will mitigate the impact we are feeling in Nigeria. You know, if you go to any country in Africa, certainly the cost of living has risen. Go to even Ghana here. People trade in Ghana. They go to Cotonou. Things have tripled. Go to London. You know, go to UK. Go to London and see what it is now to pay for your gas or to pay for the things have tripled worldwide, all over the world. So we cannot be isolated from the global meltdown, not just because of the war in the Middle East, but there have been rising cost of living all over the world over the past 5 years or more. It's natural. Yes, here in Nigeria, the government ought to be doing certain things differently. I think that is where we hold President Bola Tinubu accountable. After removing fuel subsidy like he said, we should not be lamenting. What do we want him to do? What should be his priorities? If he's listening right now, his friends are listening now, what are they to take away from this program this morning? There should be certain things we expect them to be doing differently. We expected that President Bola Tinubu will pay very serious attention to power supply. Power supply is key, like my colleague mentioned. A lot of young graduates are doing nothing. They cannot do anything without power supply. People cannot set up barbing saloon. You can't have a hairdressing saloon. You cannot run little restaurants. You can't run small business because you have to buy generators. You have to factor fuel inside, buying fuel, buying diesel. Like some of us are suffering. You want to manage little business to survive. So the president ought to factor this in and zero into electricity supply. But like you said, it still has some time. 10 months can still do a lot of magic. I think this, like you said at the beginning, Dr. Austin, our government is turn by turn. This is the turn of the Southwest. The biggest disappointment Nigerians we have is to say that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed in properly governing Nigeria. Because we know how obeyed these groups are being. When it moves to the north, we're going to wonder what we're going to get from northeast, northwest, north central. Who is the president coming from that zone? How will he react? How will he see the problems in the south? When he go to the next time he comes to the south again, if we move to southeast, then we're going to look at the attitude of the president that will come from that side towards the problems we have. And so there is no denying the fact that our rulership, our leadership here is turn by turn. That even we have in Edo State, move from Benin to Edo North to Edo Central. Any governor that fails knows that he's putting his people in trouble. So similarly, Bola Ahmed Tinubu knows that it will be a big disappointment to the Yorubas, to the Southwest, if he fails. So let us see how he can prioritize the problems we have, solve them, and put food on our table, make this easy for us. Saying that it's not going to be voted for, to me, doesn't mean. Precisely reacting to the problems we are facing. How are we advising him? This is their turn. Let them run the country the best way they can. Let us assess him. Let us speak to them.
Okay, Mr. Austin.
Yes.
Right, thank you so much. Now, speaking about turns and Emiloko, just recently, Dapo Abiodun, the governor of Ogun State, did state that 3.5 years is not enough for the government of the day to fix electricity, to fix the power situation that we found ourselves in the country. Now, I'm moving directly to Prince Israel. Do you think the timing perhaps is too short? And maybe Nigerians should give the current administration another chance to prove themselves and give them enough time to do all of those basic things that we're asking them to do. That is one. And secondly, at this point, do you think Nigerians are even getting ready for the 2027 general election? Because all we see now is politicking from different political parties. Over the weekend, we had the convention of both the APC and the PDP. But in terms of the populist Nigerians, are we gearing up to come out to vote? Are we going to be seeing voter apathy? Or perhaps we will see a new movement, just like we saw the obedient movement in the last election? Prince Israel. Prince Israel, are you there? Okay, let's see if we still have Dr. Austin. Dr. Austin, please go ahead with your thoughts.
I would like to align myself with what my brother Austin Brahma has said. I mean, very veteran journalist, my very respectable personality from Edo extraction. Thank you. It's good to set agenda. Having lamentation alone is not enough. For instance, when the Gulf War started, or I use the word Gulf War because it depends on your narrative. You can only come to the Middle East, the US, Israel, Iran war, it depends on where. So I would like to call it the Gulf crisis or the Gulf War, as it were, but even though it's just in Iran. The first day of that strike, I had already made a post. I tagged the Nigerian administration that Nigeria will face the dynamics of this war. What cushioning effect is on ground to avoid the kind of debacle we have always experienced where there's a global crisis. Global crisis will always happen. But how do you, from a local perspective, understand the dynamics? And that is what led us to conversations around localization. You think global, but you have to act locally. And one way to do that is saving. When I discovered that the Nigerian government was not doing anything with that thing, I had to do some storage of petroleum products. Safely anyway, for you to know safely. But then how long can that take me? If the Nigerian government has done that kind of safe storage, it has taken us like a month or two. We know countries that have done storage. 40,000 barrels of crude oil was recently released that some countries who came together from their storage, again, storage. Nigeria government and of course West Africa is a challenge. But you know, another impact that has led to the high cost of petroleum products in Nigeria is the floating of the dollar, which we have not talked about. In Libya, petroleum product, fuel exactly, is still not up to 50 naira by Nigerian currency. This was a recent report done. In countries that do not have petroleum product like crude oil, etc., are facing the worst hit. Countries who have it, Angola is buying fuel for about 600 naira. I've had the privilege of living there for some point in Luanda. I saw when dollar moved in Nigeria by way of floating the Nigerian naira, the dollar control in Angola was still minimized. If you check, Ghana is hitting because they've still not gone their way. Sierra Leone, of course, is hitting. But look at countries that have proved they've been able to manage. But Nigeria is one of the countries, even though you will say that the cost is lower because it's about 1,300, 1,400 per product of fuel, which is close to $1. The dollar now is about 1,300 and something. So we are literally buying fuel now with $1. In America, it's already $2 plus. Someone said that, yes, there are constraints, but the floating of the Nigerian dollar already have implication on that. That is on one side. Then for insecurity, the president needs to actually put his money where his mouth is. You want to dissipate,
thank you so much. Thank you for your submissions there, Dr. Omori. Thank you so much, Dr. Omori Austin Aigbe, for your dispositions. And thank you also for joining the program and discussion this morning. I also like to thank our other discussants, which we had this morning. Prince Israel Orika, the Executive Director, Connected Advocacy. And also we had Austin Brima, who happens to be a former National Commissioner of the Police Service Commission. Thank you all so much for weighing in on our conversations from our Benin studio this morning. Now, we'd like to hand over to our Abuja studio, where Ikaru Atta is standing by to take over. He also has a very topical conversation lined up. It's still, you know, about 2027 and all of the theatrics we're seeing per time. Over to you, Ikaru.
Thank you very much, Chukwu from Naya Adigwe. So much to talk about here. And Big Honorable Austin Brimo and other guests firing from all cylinders. Discuss Nigeria and end that quickly. So much happening, so much to discuss about. It's a political year, alignment, realignment, and many persons believe that those who are contesting, from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whoever is challenging him, not very visible here at the moment, and other persons at the subnational, that state governors, House of Assembly members. There's the need for everyone to understand the dynamics of society, especially the pains of the people. Now, I want to stay with the APC National Convention that took place at the weekend. So much fallout from that. We know for sure that some delegates and some journalists were tear gassed when they want to gain entry, and there was crowd tear gas. Some of them were badly flogged by some police personnel at the gate. We have that video, so we can comfortably at some delegates, and if anyone believes we don't, we'll show you the clip of where policemen were flogging delegates. Some of these delegates are not just persons that you think. Some of them are really high political office holders. They were flogged, they were tear gas, and we saw them all struggling. But now, we want to go on the discourse. We'll be discussing in a short while with the former Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, who will be joining us via a Zoom or the phone, depending on which one is okay. But for now, but before that, let's show you our news, what clue that was I was Joseph, the opponent was there. But let's start with the clip put together by Joseph Kadri, who followed event at the Eagle Square throughout that day and that night when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu spoke on several issues. And Professor Nantawe Yelwada and his team were reaffirmed and re-adopted as chairman and executive of the ruling All Progressives Congress.
The 40th National Convention of All Progressives Congress, APC, at Eagle Square witnessed the presence of governors, lawmakers, and party faithful from across the country at the event and criticized opposition parties over attacks on the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, insisting that the process was transparent while also ruling out achievement of his administration.
On the Electoral Act 2026, the service to Nigeria. Commitment is to uphold the law, conduct elections, and protect the integrity of our elections. Investors' confidence has partly improved, amending the problem of electricity.
Some party leaders highlight key challenges in the country, including insecurity, for sustained efforts to address them.
We must also acknowledge the challenges confronting our nation: insecurity, economic pressures, and social divisions.
The convention ends with the election of new national officers, with Nantawe Yelwada returned as national chairman and Ajibola Basiru as national secretary. From Abuja, Joseph, ITV News.
Okay, thank you. Such a wonderful one, Joseph. There is good to be the ruling party. A game of color and glamour. And you could imagine, beyond that, if you say, well, you saw what happened that day, the entire central business district of Abuja was completely locked. If you know Abuja very well, coming in from the first headquarters, you have the Apicot Bridge sealed up. When you go to behind the River State House, sealed up. Finance, sealed up. The other back, when you're coming from Wuse 2, sealed up. When you're coming from Transcorp 18, sealed up. So it was a real fortification. The police, DSS, the army. But yet, what other one? Why Joseph Kadiri focused on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu? I took time. I spoke with delegates from Edo State to get their views and what they think about the convention. And they all were talking about what they believe were the good works of Senator Monday Okpewolo, the executive governor of the state.
Peace National Convention here at the Eagle Square is a convergence of big names in Nigeria's ruling political party, as they share pleasantries and opinions and sometimes even differ in the face of laughter. One thing stands out. The delegates and stalwart from the heartbeat state of Edo believe that a convention like this is a moment to reflect on the performance of the state governor, Senator Monday Okpewolo. Pastor Osage Ize Eyamu, Senator Neda Imaswe, and Honorable Omosede Igbenedion all believe that the governor of the state has performed very well, and moments like these are one that encourages him to do more for the good people of Edo State.
Well, we are happy that our governor is doing very well. He's a party man. The Edo State is, with a very strong delegation, including our former governor, Comrade Adams Oshomole, and so many others. So I want to assure our people that we are well represented in the APC.
The dividend of democracy, especially when you key into the ruling party, it's already been experienced in Edo State. Edo State has become one giant construction site, development taking through where you go.
Our governor is doing tremendously well. His Excellency, distinguished Senator Monday Okpewolo, governor of Edo State, he is doing a fantastic job, and therefore he's spreading the good works of Mr. President. And likewise, there have been complementary support from the federal, So certainly I can expect nothing but victory.
Whether you are from the north, central or south, we are one people. If we don't work together, we perish. If we work together, we make progress.
They are not the one who share this view about the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpewolo. The APC state Jared Tenebe, as well as Honorable EJ Agbanhima, also believe that the governor is doing so well, and in their view, the governor needs to be encouraged.
The takeaway here is people we are going to mingle. We are going to have interaction with APC members from all other states, and we will know what they are doing. We will correct certain things that we are not doing very, very good.
Distinguished Senator Monday Okpewolo, the man we call Akpako Rescue, that have come to rescue Edo State from the hands of their enemy.
From the view and thoughts of big names in the AP from Edo and stalwart, one would not be wrong to conclude that they are solidly behind the state governor, Monday Okpewolo, from the Eagle Square, venue of the APC National Convention here in Abuja. I'm Ikaro Atta, ITV News.
Sometimes we do that here. As the beauty of your darling station, independent television, we multitask here. You can be in the feed, be in the studio. It's all about the broadcast ideology of independent television and radio, getting the people adequately informed. The delegates from Edo State are so much praises for Monday Okpewolo. Everyone just believe, hey guys, doing great, he's doing great. Infrastructure, construction side, you could see everyone speaking there. Honorable Mosede, elder statesman, Isaiah Yamu, and Professor Julius Omoezuabo Honwere, Ijagwaima, and even Jared Tenebe, all of them saying the same thing. But now, quickly, let's now speak our guest for this morning, who will be joining us via the phone from Benin, former Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, the former Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, the very right Honorable Justin. He was there as Speaker. He sat and presided over the affair. He will be joining us from Benin City. A very wonderful morning, Speaker, sir.
Good morning,
Very wonderful morning. How is Benin this morning?
Benin is fine, cool.
Mr. Speaker, I did not see you at the convention.
I was there.
I was looking for you. I was there with them, and how come I did not see you? I'm very sorry.
I didn't get to the Edo stand. I was at the Osun stand.
Why did you stay at the Osun stand?
Because as I came in, I had issues. When I entered the place, it was quite tight, and I had issues with my right leg, so I couldn't move within the crowd and all that. So I said, I want them to.
Yes, very sorry. Hope you are stronger now. Hope you are stronger now.
Oh, very strong.
Thank you. Please, sorry. I know the stress you had to go through to enter there, parking your car very far, trekking into the back gate by Education Ministry entrance. And I'm very, very sorry. But I was looking out for you. I saw Blessing Agbebaku. I saw Governor Mondo Pawolo and all of them. We spent time together. But I really, if I had seen you, it would have been a nice time.
I saw them on the screen. I'm so sure if they couldn't have seen me, I was on NT Live and all that.
Yeah. I would have loved to greet you and exchange please. Now, Mr. Speaker, even if Blessing Agbebaku is there now, I know that you sat down and presided over the affair. Let's now take your view on the APC convention. What was your assessment of that convention?
Wonderful. You were there. You saw how people were happy. You saw the ambience and the rest of them. This is a party that is bursting at the seams. APC has exploded, and came in happy because they saw a party. Let me take you back a bit in Karwata. You know, APC started. It was like our president Bola Ahmed Tinubu gathered together some party like David's Ragtag Army in the major work. He worked. We defeated the incumbent and brought the president. He served 2 times. When Tinubu is coming, there were all kinds of things to block him and all that. That led to the popular Iminyoko. But he came out as he faced these 2-pronged projects. First, to stabilize the economy and stop it from sliding, remove subsidy and all that. Then he now faced the party. Today, you see this party, people are coming from left, right, and center. It has never happened like this before in this country. So that way, people you saw were very, very happy. And look at the theme. The theme is unity and progress, consolidating the renewed hope agenda. People, you were there, you saw it, everybody was happy. So that's like I would describe the convention. People were very, very happy. We came in united and we are moving forward.
Now, so, but Honorable Okonobo, sir, there are many persons who complain that the issue of consensus candidate does not align with the tenets of contemporary and effective democracy. While we are persons not allowed to pick form and Professor
days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Emobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
This is ITV.
Certainly the best.
The land of Owa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Owa traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Owa was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onwian or Onwa. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
Benin Cultural Dance, a unique dance and quality dance steps of the Benin people. This dance is a vibrant mix of traditions, arts and beliefs, deeply rooted in the country's diverse ethnic groups and their rich history. The dance has artistic expressions depicting the people's history. Benin people have been famous for bronze and brass work, some of which is said to date back from the 13th century, especially ivory and wood carving. In Benin, the people dance to show respect, honor, dignity, which they honor. They dance to show royalty, as naids are seen in their numbers round their body depicting the symbol of kingship.
ITV, certainly the best.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, the Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck, blessings, peace, and prosperity. Each of the senior members of the Ihogbe proceeds to give the sacred leaves directly to the Oba of Benin, and others put theirs at his feet.
Onwa is rich in culture and traditions. The people are a mixture of traditional worshippers, Muslims and Christians. Onwa is located at the northern part of Edo State. It consists of two local government areas, that is Onwa West and Onwa East. It has a total number of 13 clans and 21 political wards, according to National Population Commission 2006 census. The population of Onwa people is put together at 251,686. The people love tradition and culture. Historically, the people ancestors in deep quest to hand down on their future children a society of love and friendship.
thanks for staying with us. Many thanks for joining our Lagos Network studio this beautiful morning on ITV. I am Marcelina Umko, and today, a guest that would be helping us analyzing today's topic is Barrister Atta. He is a legal practitioner. And hello, Barrister Atta, good morning.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for having me on this lovely morning.
And thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
And also, we're going to be having a guest join via Zoom from Abuja much later. Uche Agweze Okocha is a law researcher and also an author. He would be joining us much later on the program. So today, we are taking a closer look at the APC National Convention, a gathering that has once again placed the ruling party at the center of Nigerians' political conversation. Thousands of delegate party leaders and governors converge in Abuja in what the party describes a demonstration of the unity and organizational strength. A new national working committee has been affirmed, and the message from the party leadership is clear: consolidation, stability, and focus. But in politics, every move carries a deeper meaning. With 2027 gradually into view, many Nigerians are asking, was this convention simply about straightening internal structure, or is it an early step in strategic positioning for the next general election? That is what most Nigerians are asking. Barrister Atta Adams, do you think this consensus method used at the APC agreement or fitment?
Yes, because the Electoral Act say that, and the provisions of the Electoral Act is very clear. You can either adopt by consensus, by appointing your leaders that will pilot the affairs of the party for the next 4 years, thereabouts. And then the party constitution is clear. So for me, I don't think that they have violated the provisions of the Electoral Act, and more importantly, the APC constitution. Because if you give room for people to contest now, you're going to see that there's going to be disarray, there's going to be disagreements, there's going to be issue one way or the other like it. But this assessor's candidate now, you see that it's an easygoing exercise, and the party can align all together, and then with ease, and then you see that it's an extent of unity among the party members for that purpose, even though some of the members are not in alliance with that. But at the end of the day, they are done with their convention, whether we like it or not.
Okay, some opposition figures, they claim there is a little difference between major parties. So how does the APC now distinguish themselves, rather?
From all this?
Yes, other figures are little between that, the difference. So how do APC, come out now to distinguish themselves from these other parties?
Well, whether we like it or not, let me say this. I've not seen any sign of seriousness from any of the opposition party. Oh. Be it Labour Party, be it ADC, I don't see. Is it have court matters, litters over the Federation? Look at PDP now. They just held another. They are done with their convention. Whether the opposition party likes it or not, it will not dispute the fact that APC is in charge in about 32 states, thereabout, all over the Federation. And in this part of the world, the governor, whether we like it or not, the governor influence matters in the electoral system. And that's why you see that Mr. President is so deliberate in taking move to woo most of the governors all over the Federation. It's not for mere academic purpose. It's for a purpose. So for me, I think 50% APC is way ahead of other parties. They are in power. They have all the internal machineries in their possession. Number the cash is into passion. You need a sitting governor. You need power. You need everything. So it's very, very important. They are way ahead of other parties.
So you think APC stand a chance for the forthcoming 2027 election?
Yes. I've not seen.
Ahead of other political parties?
Yes. I would say it openly, and I'm saying it again. Because of the division. Look at ADC that is being paraded or seen as a major opposition right now. There is no agreement. You see Peter Obi campaigning on another frolic. You see Alhaji Atiku Abubakar campaigning from another angle. You see Amechi campaigning. What stopped them from coming together and then unite together collectively with the power, with a view to rescue power? Freedom is not given voluntarily. You must ask for it. You must request for it. You must exercise sign and symptom that you need this power. You can't just sit back and then you think you get it on a platter of gold. It's not done in this part of the world.
But we saw that Rabiu Musa Kwakwes defected.
Rumor to ADC this week, thereabouts. I don't know. So I saw that this week or last 2 weeks or during the Salah period, Peter Obi went to visit him in Kano State. And we saw the massive people that came out. But the influence of the governor of that state equally matters. You can't take it away. And equally, the influence of the former, the immediate. So the Kano politics is a little bit dicey. So we must know that whether Kwankwaso join ADC or not, the unity of the party is important. The party must speak in common purpose. Otherwise, it will amount to an exercise in futility. That's my take.
Institutional standpoints, Barrister Atta, are Nigerians' political parties ideologically structured, or do you think they are merely electoral vehicles?
Well, I agree with your last statement. They are just just there as a vehicle for their selfish interests. They have not shown or exhibit any sign that they are concerned about you or Nigerians. Even the ideology and the purpose of the parties, the original intention of all the parties, is being defeated. Is it that you see politicians decamping and junketing from one party to the other? Is that how you describe it as how you run a political party? A political party is being run as a glorified secondary school. It's not done. Or like a kindergarten association. It's supposed to be properly regulated. You see that the party will automatically give them that ticket. Where is it done? Look at Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. He has virtually romanced about 3 when he's another party. AP is now in ADC. How will you correlate that? Look at Peter Obi, PDP, Labour Party, PDP, and then he's now back to ADC. Look at Kwankwaso. He was in PDP at a point. He left for APC, and then thereafter he now went and franked his own party, NNPC. I don't know the name of that his party. And now he wants to join ADC. How will you do this? They see it as a vehicle. The purpose and the original intention of the parties and the intention of the constitution is being defeated. The provisions of the constitution is clear. A political party must have an ideology. You cannot leave one party and then you continue to romance with other parties. Some of them are even doing inter-party. Particularly, what is it called? A person like Wike right now, you cannot say he's an APC member or a PDP member.
All right, Barrister Atta, we'll be coming back to you. Let's quickly move to Abuja, where our guest is joining via Zoom. Hello, Honorable Uche Agweze Okocha. If you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we're talking about the APC just concluded convention. The APC adopted a consensus approach at the convention. Critics says this weaken internal democracy. How do you respond to this?
Well, I would think somewhat, despite the fact that I'm an APC member, the view of the critic is correct. Because if you look at the Constitution section 223, the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria made it clear that leadership of political parties must emerge from democratic process. Okay? If you look at even the APC Constitution itself, Article 20, is also very clear on how leadership of the APC itself should emerge. And what I see that played out in this, the last concluded congresses and convention, both at state level, at local government level, at world level, I see that the term consensus was misconstrued and misapplied. Consensus was misconstrued grossly and misapplied. What the law meant by consensus, even by the Electoral Act, Section 84 of the Electoral Act, if you also look at it when it talks about the consensus of elections, it means that those who are contesting are the ones to come up with this consensus, not party members who are not contesting for the positions. I don't know if you are getting what I'm saying clear.
Yeah, yes, sir, sure.
Yeah. So the situation we saw is a and say so local government have adopted so person as our consensus candidate. So political and notice the law says that those who are contesting will put it in writing that yes, I have accepted that I'm no more contesting, that I'm giving up my right to contest, my franchise, to my fellow contestant, who will now be the person to be adopted by the party. That is where the term consensus. But they have been misinterested party members who were out to oppositions. So utmost respect where they will, if you want form for your government, they lead your state. In a state, I'm from Abia State, in a state where there is no APC governor, what they will say, go and meet the leader of the party in your state so that he can give you the form or he can endorse you for us to give you the form. I'm an APC member. I'm talking from primary information. I'm talking from primary experience. I'm talking from primary evidence. I'm talking from cogent and reliable information that they will say for only one form is available for you. And the one form will go to a particular person whom the governor or the state leader has endorsed for the position you are contesting. And these state leaders or governors will now use their influence, what I call undue influence, will now use their influence to gather subjects of the party together to say, this is the person we are adopting as our consensus candidate. At the end of the day, they will say, this is the consensus candidate. Take, for example, you will see what happened that almost all the members of the National Working Committee returned. Because of this thing, they say consensus. So if critics say the thing affected internal party democracy, despite being an APC member, but being an advocate of truth, justice, equity, and natural justice, I will agree with critic that what our party have done is not laying a good precedent for democracy. There should be internal party democracy. Democracy is all about contestations, participatory democracy, and that is what will grow political parties. Remember, these political parties are what you are expecting to emerge as government and to control the political structure of. So when the democracy,
okay, Honorable Uche, some working committees were formed. I mean, new national working committees were actually formed. What makes you think that these new committees that were formed, they won't rather be different from the previous ones?
Why? On balance of probabilities, it is difficult to say they will be different because on the face of it, prima facie, they are the same people. If you check those that the alteration there is not, and it's just very few. I don't think it's up to 3. Like Deputy National Chairman South. Now, Chief Ben Moye now replaced the former person that was there. Are you getting it? So yeah, sure. It's very few. Yeah, so what you have now is the same people, except somebody can understand this from legal point of view. The constitution of the party, I think Article 13 or 12, it's established that the highest organ of the party is the convention. For instance, the national chairman of the party did not emerge before by an act of convention, rather endorsement by the NEC. The NEC is the third in the hierarchy of APC. NEC is the third in hierarchy. You have the convention, then you have the national advance of the appointment. I think he was nominated by the president himself. Then the NEC, which is a high-rising organ of the party, endorsed him. So maybe within, the person can say, oh, since I'm not a product of convention, maybe I'll be careful the way I will handle things. Or maybe I will restrain myself. But now that he is a product of full convention, I expect him to be more assertive, to be more, exercise his powers the more. So I think that can make a difference. All right, Honorable Uche, I'll come back to you. Barrister Atta, do you think should the law be amended to regulate consensus candidacy more strictly? Yes. Do you think the law needs to be amended?
Yes, it is a law that gave room for all this ambiguity that we are seeing and several interpretations as to whether some people will interpret consensus candidates as to mean that whether it is the people that are contesting in that particular position that will endorse and say, oh, I'm ready to forego my rights. Some people will interpret it in that fold and give room for the contestant for a particular position. But some other members of the parties may interpret it to say that it's a collective agreement by all the leadership of the parties and then the members of the party to say that, oh, we hereby resolve that these people are now our leaders. So I don't understand the purpose and the genesis behind why we should have a law that we cannot give a literal interpretation. What is the purpose? And then you give room for our selfish politicians to give the word different species of interpretation. They will interpret it to favor them, just like how we are caught up in the saga of transmission and then transfer. And then you see that politicians will misinterpret it. INEC will adopt whichever part suffices for them at a particular thing. Now, look at what the whole federation is experiencing now. There is no power supply all over the federation. And we are close to election period. And we want transmission of results. How is that possible? But however, let me narrow it down to your question on whether or not I prefer that the provisions of the law should be adopted to give room for internal democracy by people contesting for an election. Of course, that's how it should be. But our politicians, they know that they have their special
Some days, there comes the Ugemobo Festival, which the Oba celebrates outside the palace gate. A pavilion is built of red cloth where rites are performed to drive away all evil spirits still unsatisfied by the year's sacrifices. The Ugemobo Festival is to commemorate an event in Benin history which dates back to 1504 AD.
This is ITV.
The land of Owa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political.
Hello and welcome to ITV News Update. I am Anwoluwapo Stevens. A former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, has announced his resignation from the New Nigeria's People's Party, citing the need for political realignment. Kwankwaso, who was the party's presidential candidate in the 2023 general elections, disclosed this in a statement issued on Sunday. The former governor described his exit as a difficult decision, noting his long-standing involvement with the party. Kwankwaso expressed appreciation to the party leadership, including the national chairman, Ajuji Ahmed, and other organs of the party for their support during his time. Kwankwaso also acknowledged the members of the Kwankwasia movement and the party supporters for their commitment. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has reaffirmed the country's commitment to promoting and protecting human rights through constitutional guarantees and by embedding these rights into security operations. A State House correspondent, Ikaru Ota, reports he stated this in Abuja at the 2026 High-Level International Humanitarian Law Dialogue themed Complementary Threshold and Outcomes in Abuja.
Speaking at the dialogue, Vice President Kashim Shettima says Nigeria is fully committed to international cooperation and the universal application of international humanitarian law in every theater of conflict. He noted that the administration of President Bola Tinubu has adopted a comprehensive response to tackle insecurity and address conflict, combining both kinetic and non-kinetic measures. As part of this evolution, Vice President Shettima recalled that President Bola Tinubu recently appended his assent to the domestication of the African Union Kampala Convention.
Nigeria has adopted a proactive approach to the implementation of international humanitarian law through sustained military training, strengthened child protection protocols, the integration of IHL into academic curricula, accountability mechanisms for sexual violence, improved arms control systems, and comprehensive displacement frameworks. These efforts reflect a simple but powerful truth. Humanitarian law must be lived, not merely legislated. At the heart of this national agenda lies our recognition that meaningful progress depends on strong partnerships across government, civil society, and international stakeholders.
Earlier, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, underscored the government's effort to domesticate humanitarian law treaties and transform the nation's justice system. Fagbemi added that Nigeria is strengthening the capacity of its military and law enforcement agencies by embedding international human rights law principles into training and operations. In her welcome address, the Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Justice, Mrs. Beatrice Jedi Agba, says the dialogue provides the judiciary with an opportunity to maintain its commitment to promoting the rule of law within the nation's security architecture. She emphasized that Nigeria will continue to uphold the Geneva Convention on Warfare. The event drew participation from key international bodies, including the United Nations and the International Committee of the Red Cross, amongst others. From Abuja, Ikaru Ota, ITV News.
President Bola Tinubu marked his 74th birthday on March 29, 2026, with low-key celebrations including special prayer sessions. The main prayer was held at the National Mosque Abuja, where the president was sported alongside his son, Sheyi Tinubu. The session focused on spiritual reflection, gratitude for life, and prayers for national peace, security, and stability in the face of economic challenges. The gathering included high-ranking government officials such as Vice President Kashim Shettima, National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu, Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and members of the First Family. The prayer was part of a tradition for President Tinubu to forego elaborate celebrations in favor of prayer, with similar events occurring in Lagos and other parts of the country. The president used the occasion to reaffirm his commitment to building a better Nigeria, urging citizens to pray for the nation. Meanwhile, Vice President Kashim Shettima has congratulated President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on his 71st birthday, lauding his leadership, economic reforms, and commitment to repositioning Nigeria for sustainable growth. In a personally signed tribute released on Sunday, Shettima described Tinubu as a visionary leader whose renewed hope agenda continues to steer the country toward prosperity, noting that the administration has recorded notable milestones within the past year. He highlighted improvement in key economic indicators, including accelerated GDP growth, easing inflationary pressures, and increased foreign direct investment, attributing the gains to the president's purposeful and courageous leadership. The vice president also commended Tinubu's focus on infrastructure development, noting that ongoing investment are laying the foundation for long-term economic expansion and national competitiveness. Shettima further praised the president's willingness to take difficult but necessary decisions, stressing that history will remember his preference for reform over populism in addressing Nigeria's structural challenges. In the same vein, the Patriarch of the House of Igbinedion and Isama of Benin, his Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawa Igbinedion, has, on behalf of his family, congratulated His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on the occasion of his birthday. In a statement of felicitation, the Isama of Benin Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawa Igbinedion described the day as remarkable, highlighting the President's dedication, service, and steadfast commitment to the progress and unity of Nigeria. He wished President Tinubu abundant health, enduring wisdom, and continued success in all his endeavors. He also prayed that the president tenure remains a period of transformative leadership, peace, and prosperity for all Nigerians. And that ends the news at this time. Many thanks for watching. I am Anuoluwakpo Stevens. Up next is TMI Socials.
ITV, certainly the best.
The Ugewe is the final ceremony of the series of festivals. It is one of peace and lightheartedness, following the more solemn of the ritual year. Ugewe is the festival of the Ewe leaves, a symbol of good luck and joy. It is the most popular of all that heralds the dawn of a Benin New Year, new vow, newness of life and freshness of life, and a new hope for the future. In the evening, The Ewe leaves are presented to the Oba of Benin in grand style in a colorful ceremony. The Ihogbe Society, amidst singing and dancing, bring the sacred leaves that symbolize good luck.
Good morning. This is TMI Socials. Welcome on board. I am Anuluakpo Stevens. I better still call me a social media butterfly. Now, today we kickstart by letting you know that the APC held its 8th National Convention on March 27th to 28th at Eagle Square in Abuja, highlighting or electing a 25-member National Working Committee, including re-elected Chairman Nwate Yelwata. President Tinubu addressed the crowd defending reforms like fuel subsidy removal, and he said that he boosted state funds, cut inflation to 14.45%, and drew investor interest while promising 1,600 more megawatt via a new grid company. Amid electric chairs from delegates and performances by Ice Prince and others, tear gas at the entrance disrupted entry, and critics questioned economic claims and security arrangements. Now, here are 5 major videos that trended over the weekend as a result of APC convention. Take a look.
Congress. Progressive Congress. And that I will preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of our great party. So help me God. Congratulations. By this
jama'a me ke faruwa a Abuja ne nan da kuke gani da yan uwanmu ne da buga ake tashi to yau na gansu a garin Abuja gabaki daya, especially yan Kano kun gani sai bacci suke ta yi akan titi da sauransu. So nan sun zo campaign ne fa na Tinubu da Abba, sai ka ce ba wa'annan mutanen bane suka samu a cikin halin haula'i. Ku duba inda suke bacci dan Allah. Don ka bibiya ba mai 100k a cikin account din shi, amma a yanzu akan yabi naira 1,000 zuwa 2,000 aka ga sun dauko kafa sun tawo a waje domin su zaɓi mutumin da yake zalunta su. So dai Allah subhanahu wataala ya taimake mu, ya taimaki musulunci baki ɗaya. Kun gani nan duk su ne, ai sai kun ma fita waje za ku gani nan wa'annan a cikin gata suke. Wallahi kuka fita waje za ku yi mamaki sosai wallahi. Amma fa fitar su suke dubawa fa. Allah ya taimaka kawai.
We're not supposed to be put here because normally we're always at the entrance of the convention. Since yesterday I've been protesting that they kept us here because we are a state that has a governor. Not that we spoke to our governor to cross to APC. We worked hard to make a governor for the state. And we expected that when you are considering positioning states, we are supposed to be one of the first states to be positioned because we worked hard to flip the Edo State to APC, and we are also convinced that as a state that has promised Mr. President 3.5 million votes to be kept in a place like this is not right. But
Well, there you have it. 5 major trending videos that trended over the weekend from the APC convention. Away from that, President Bola Tinubu says his administration is paying attention to the electricity challenges across the country amid growing complaints from Nigerians over poor power supply. While speaking on Friday at the 2026 National Convention of the All Progressive Congress APC, Tinubu acknowledged widespread concerns over electricity outages. He said the Grid Asset Management Company, CAMCO, is expected to inject about 1,500 megawatts into a new grid corridor to strengthen supply. Let's take a look.
Many of you lamenting the problem of electricity, power. Yes, we are paying attention to that. The Grid Asset Management Company, CAMCO, which will inject approximately 1,500 megawatts into a new grid corridor. We are going to improve on it. Electricity will become better, and be assured there will be opportunity and progress in our industrialization path.
There you have it. Electricity will become better. But how did netizens take this online? Let's find out. We'll start off with this user who wrote, "Promises like this sounds good on paper, but Nigerians have heard it many times before. What matters now is visible, consistent improvement in electricity, not just assurances. Until the lights stay on, it will be hard for people to take this seriously. Accountability and real results are what build trust." Well, still on the story, this user wrote, "We were promised a fixed power grid, yet we have moved from instability to a complete nationwide blackout. It is hard to believe this is coming from the same leader who told us to judge his first term by his success in power sector. When do the excuses end and light comes on?" Well, finally on this story, this user wrote, "But he promised he will fix it in 2022 and even told us not to vote for him if he doesn't deliver on that promise. So, are we to believe him now?" Good question. But away from that, hashtag El-Rufai has still been trending online as over the weekend, former governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, has been granted temporary bail by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Order-Related Offences Commission following the death of his mother, Aija Umar El-Rufai, on Friday. Now, the temporary freedom is to enable the former governor perform the funeral rites of his late mother, who died in Egypt after a period of sickness. So El-Rufai's son, Bashir, confirmed his father's release in a post on his X handle on Friday. And over the course of the weekend, we had the burial being done. And now take a look at dignitaries who attended the event. Well, videos circulating online did show that the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, also attended, but we're certainly not sure if that video is as regards his birthday prayers on Friday or what happened over the weekend with the loss of El-Rufai's mother. But away from that, let's move over to reactions online. Now we'll start off with this user who wrote, "Today, Atiku Abubakar. Today I joined family, friends and associates of Malam Nez El-Rufai and the extended El-Rufai family at the janazah of the matriarch of the family, Haja Uma El-Rufai. May God continue to comfort the family and all who mourn her, and may Allah grant her al-Jannah Firdausi. Ameen." Okay, amen. Well, still on this beat, this user wrote, "Looks like El-Rufai increased his political capital with the passing of his mother, coming at a time he is being persecuted by the Nigerian government. Tinubu is a political genius, laugh out loud, but this is free PR for a man who is bound to contest as vice president at least in 2027 or as president in 2031. Now, still on the story, this user wrote, "Man, I really can't understand this kind of politics. Like, you are attending the occasion of someone you are persecuting and about sending to jail. Like, these guys are separating emotions from politics. No permanent foe, no friend." Well, away from that, let's talk real politics now. As a former governor of Kano State, Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso has announced his resignation from the new Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, now citing the need for political realignment. So Kwankwaso, who was the party's presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, disclosed this in a statement issued on Sunday. Now let's have the picture of the resignation letter he posted on his X handle. If you could have that on now. The former governor described his exit as a difficult decision, noting his long-standing involvement with the party. So let's have, all right, so that's the resignation letter that trended over the weekend, and let's see how you took this online. Now this user wrote, if we could have the first reaction to the story. This user wrote, well, I remember saying, okay, so Kingsley says, "Why resign? Why not merge the party together with the ADC?" Good question. Now another user, still an X, reacting, "Leaving your own house to become a tenant in another man's house. I wish you well, Your Excellency." Ojo Festus on X has that to say. Well, still on this bit, this user wrote, "Atiku, Obi and Kwankwaso just have an ego problem. Who will lead in the race 2027? If they let Atiku go, 2023 would repeat. If they let Obi, none of them would agree to be vice. If they let Kwankwaso, APC will sweep the north and most in the south will stay home." That's what happens when three kings fight for the throne. Well, away from that, my final story for you for today would be from a pastor, David Ebiome, now founder of Salvation Ministries. He has caused a stir after arriving at a crusade held at the University of Port Harcourt, Uniport, in a Tesla cyber truck. So a viral video shows him stepping out of the futuristic electric truck at the crusade ground. And this is making round all over social media. Let's take a look. Reacting to these online, while some persons online were shouting God when, others asking how did he get the money, being just a pastor. Well, let's take a look at two reactions from this, with this user on X writing about how even Jesus no do reach this one. According to Sammy of Milan, while Nigerian pastors don't brainwash many. Another user reacting to this viral video wrote, "They are servants of God. Are they meant to suffer?" Well, on that note, we wrap up TMI Socials this morning. Thank you so much for being part of the show. I am Anuoluwapo Stevens. And from all of us on This Morning on ITV, do have yourself a great day ahead.